Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us midweek. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, tonight, one man is dead and Carbon County authorities are looking for answers. The shooting happened outside Red Lodge a little after 10 this morning. Sheriff's deputies responded to Lake Fork Road off of Highway 212 near the trailhead. That's 6 miles south of Red Lodge. Sheriff Josh McQuillan says a man in his mid-40s was pronounced dead at the scene. McQuillan says 3 other people, including the person who fired the weapon, are cooperating. No one is in custody at this hour. Detectives are still trying to figure out what led to the shooting. Well, new developments tonight on a story we have been covering for months. A woman has been officially charged for failing to stop for a school bus and hitting a 6-year-old girl near Whitefish last November. Patricia Berliner has been charged with 1 count of criminal endangerment, a felony for failing to stop for the bus, which had its flashing lights and stop sign up on Highway 93. 6-year-old Jordana Hubble was critically injured. Jordana was taken to Nexus Children's Hospital in Houston in January to continue her recovery. According to witness statements, Berliner said she did not think she had to stop since the bus was in the other lane. She is not in custody tonight. Well, tonight, dog, horse, and air teams are out looking for a missing 15-year-old boy in Paradise Valley. A missing endangered persons advisory was issued this morning for 15-year-old Ress Wyndham. Wyndham was last seen in the immigrant area last night around 7 o'clock. The teenager is described as a white male, 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighs 120 pounds with black hair, hazel eyes, and freckles on his nose. Ress was seen wearing a black hoodie with orange and blue flames, blue jeans, and possibly a black beanie cap. If you have any information, please call the Park County Sheriff's Office. Authorities tell us Wyndham did not have a cell phone with him. Well, an update tonight on the COVID-19 projections for Montana. Well, earlier this week, the report from the University of Washington scaled down the expected hospital use and deaths across the state. Well, today, the numbers are back up again. The model showing Montana will have 81 people die from the virus. That's up from 22 earlier this week. And the peak hospital use number of people ill is projected a week later on April 21st. Now, again, this is a model being used to project numbers across the country for individual states. The projection for Wyoming deaths decreased from 119 to 67 today. Now to Montana's latest coronavirus numbers. As of 10 a.m., the state reports 332 positive COVID-19 cases. Remember, these new numbers are 1 day behind due to a new state reporting procedure. So as of yesterday, there were 13 new confirmed cases and the death toll remained at 6. Tonight in Wyoming, there are now 230 confirmed cases. More than 2,500 people have been tested. Wyoming remains the only state in the entire country without a single reported death. Laramie County has the highest number of cases at 53. Now, 2 postal workers are among those who tested positive in Billings. U.S. Postal spokesman James Boxrud says the Postal Service believes the exposure risk is minimal because the agency has followed social distancing guidelines to keep employees 6 feet away from each other and the public. Due to health privacy laws, Boxrud was unable to tell us where the two employees worked and when they tested positive. Experts have said the risk of contracting COVID-19 from mail is low because mail is exposed to many different temperatures and environments. Well, we learned today that one of the cases so far in Yellowstone County, 5 people are still hospitalized here in Billings. 2 others were recently allowed to go home and are no longer showing symptoms. One of those patients, a man in his 50s, had been critically ill, even needed a ventilator to breathe, and spent nearly 2 weeks at Billings Clinic. Another patient, an 80-year-old man with underlying conditions, was also released after spending a week at St. Vincent Healthcare. Nancy Iverson, the director of patient safety and infection control at the Billings Clinic, says it is wonderful to see them go home and that they followed isolation guidelines to keep themselves and others safe. One update tonight on the Yellowstone County Jail and a recent order from the Montana Supreme Court to release nonviolent inmates. Sheriff Mike Linder tells us just because inmates are being released does not mean new offenders aren't being arrested. Well, tonight the jail is sitting at a capacity of roughly 380. Linder says jail staff have let about 50 people out in the last couple weeks, but those who commit domestic abuse, violate a restraining order, or another serious charge like assault with a weapon or robbery are a threat to public safety.
I have no authority to just arbitrarily let people out of jail. That has to come from a judge's order. So if people are released, they are vetted very well, whether it be courts, whether it be through the county attorney or the city attorney. They look at all these cases on an individual basis.
And Sheriff Linder's biggest concern remains re-entry into the jail and the risk of spreading COVID-19. Yellowstone County does, however, have safety measures in place, as well as a 24/7 medical team at the jail. Well, a jailee held in the Gallatin County Detention Center for about 72 hours has been released after he tested positive for COVID-19. According to Sheriff Brian Gutkin, when the man was arrested, he was not showing signs or symptoms of the virus. However, upon testing, he tested positive. He was quarantined and then released under health department observation. Like all cities across America, Billings is feeling the pinch of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, city officials are trying to wrap their heads around the impact to the city's finances. Q2's Jay Cohn is here now to fill us in.
From possible furloughs to spending cuts to even delaying a decision on the public safety mill levy. All of it's on the mind of Billings City Administrator Chris Kukulski.
Gosh, what is the economic impact going to be to this? How is it going to affect folks' ability to pay their taxes, pay their utility bills, pay fees, etc.? So, yes, I am concerned long-term about the impact.
Kukulski's worry sheet is expansive. Parking revenues for the city, for instance, have fallen flat. Airport activity off as much as 75 to 80% over the past month. All of this at a time when the city usually is hiring seasonal help for the spring and summer. Now Kukulski says furloughs are a possibility as the city anticipates a significant drop in revenue.
We have had 11 volunteers so far. They've been in those areas most immediately impacted. So we have had a few furloughs. And if this goes on as it is expected to continue, I think those very, very difficult conversations will have to continue.
As for the fate of a possible public safety mill levy, June 8th is the last possible date to decide whether to put that levy on the November ballot. But Kukulski says due to changing economic realities, the timing of that decision has changed.
We were pushing just 6 weeks ago that we really needed to make that decision earlier than June 8th. The earlier the better, so that we could get out, educate people, and get them informed. Now I completely had to do a 180 and say we shouldn't make any final decision until late May or that very first week of June, because this is moving so quickly.
And you can add one sliver of good news. The city police department's now in line to get some $230,000. It's part of the state's allocation from the CARES Act, passed by Congress just a little over 1 week ago. In Billings, I'm Jay Cohn reporting for MTN News.
Thanks so much, Jay. Now, Kukulski points out that the city does have healthy reserves to help out in a crisis just like this, enough to weather the storm for months. But he adds every day the crisis goes on, it gets harder and harder to deal with. Well, a new meal service rolled out for the first deliveries this week. Billings Buffet is a meal plan and delivery service started out of Well Paired in Billings. The service allows people to pick up from a silver membership that delivers 4 days a week or a gold membership that delivers 7 days per week. With each membership, members receive a full day's worth of food that includes lunch, snacks, dinner, and a dessert provided by each of the participating restaurants. Along with Well Paired, the Billings Buffet includes local restaurants like Walker's, Sassy's Biscuit, Sophie's Kitchen, Guadalajara, and Velvet Cravings. Together, they have delivered 20 orders so far.
We offer two separate packages, 4-day and 7-day. So customers, depending on how much food they might need for the week, can order one of the two products. We also offer an individual package or a family package. So the family package is just the individual times 4 in terms of quantity of food, but offered at a slight price discount. So we really want to be flexible and just try to meet the community's needs in this time.
A normal delivery service, whether it be with us or a third party like Uber Eats or Grubhub, is always going to be you placing an order online for that service right then and there. This meal service is going to be your whole meals for the day. So whether you're doing 7 days a week or 4 days a week on your plan, you're going to get all of your meals for lunch, dinner, snacks, and dessert by 11 to 12 every day. You're not going to have to place multiple orders, you don't have to pay multiple delivery fees, and you don't have to pick up if you don't want to and leave your house. So we think that this service provides you an all-in-one, whether it be for a family or yourself, or just for part of the week or the whole week.
And for information how to sign up for the meal service, visit order.wellpaired.com. Well, up next on tonight's 5:30 News, meet the ladies who earned top marks in the Laurel High School class of 2020 and ride along with teachers while they surprise the girls with a parade. And ahead in sports, Scott shows us an early Christmas present delivered to the Laurel Locomotives.
Temperatures 20 degrees cooler today than they were yesterday, 46 the unofficial high. We got a lot of changes in the weather over the next several days we'll tell you about in just a little while.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.